refreshing that page, you know.
Right, and we're live, guys. Good evening.
Evening.
We're just waiting for Ian to come back. He dropped his thing dropped out for some reason. So we're just waiting for the lovely Ian. We've got 4 watching us. So as Linda said, one of them's probably Colin. So hi, Colin. Hope you travel back safely. Hopefully Tina will be watching. I've got a few notes of a few interesting things and a couple of 1 or 2 pictures. So we're just waiting on Ian. Let me get the image files up. Chuck these on ready. The hassle I had trying to sort this, is he coming through on Paranormal Anglia, okay?
Yes.
It is, yeah.
Ah, brilliant. Oh, we can only upload 1 picture. Right, I'm just uploading a few pictures of a couple of things that are allegedly haunted items and allegedly cursed items.
Get a picture of me.
One that Ian mentioned.
I'm pretty haunted.
No, there was a cursed one of your ex-wife, though, Joe. Oh. Right.
Yep.
So that's an interesting one. Take it there. Oh, there he is, the Buster. He's back. And he's back.
I am. I don't know what happened there.
No, I'm not sure what happened there. You're back now, so your fans can all start gushing for you, Ian.
That should be some bloody luck.
It was silly that I was setting up the laptop to go live on Paranormal Anglia, and the dog was going absolutely ballistic at the laptop, wagging a tail and all sorts of things, trying to get attention. I was like, there's no one there yet, dog. Right. I think we'll have Linda start today.
I've had a couple of customers over the years that swear blind an item has been haunted. One of them, I went and did a house clearance for them because they'd had just the usual stuff, noises, footsteps, things like that, doors opening and closing, but never anything seen. And I did the clearance, and I was, as I always do when I do a house clearance, I'm baiting, I'm fishing as I'm going round. And I ended up being led to the cupboard where the boiler is. Now, being that the house is an ex-council house, so it's not a big house. And the boiler cupboard had maybe 2 foot of space on one side and 6 inches on the other. That's how small the cupboard was. But I was kept getting pulled into this cupboard, and I'm like, what on earth? This cupboard's too small to have anything hiding in it. What the hell? And then I spotted down the back of the boiler, there was a mirror.
Yeah.
And I said to the customer, I says, is that mirror down there for a particular reason? She's like, no, we just haven't found where we're going to put it yet. That's all. I'm like, okay, cool, fair dues. And I says, okay, if I bring it out? Aye. So I dug it out from behind the boiler and brought it out into the back lobby, and I'm smudging the mirror. And as I'm smudging the mirror, I'm getting a sensation of being pushed away from it by my throat. Now, whenever I do this kind of stuff, if they're going to kick back at me, they kick back at my throat. My throat is my weak spot. Surgeries and things when I was little. So they go for my throat.
One of the chakra points. Isn't the throat one of the chakra points as well?
It is, yeah. And weirdly for me, as much as I've had umpteen surgeries on that particular chakra point, it hasn't shut me up.
That's just being Scottish, isn't it?
Well, I used to joke, you know, born in Bradford, brought up in Scotland. If I didn't speak my mind, there'd be something wrong.
Exactly.
So I'm smudging this mirror. I can feel I'm being pushed in my throat. And I'm thinking to myself, no, you're not going to beat me. Come on. Is that all you've got? And I'm calling it all the nasty names under the sun, obviously in my head, not out loud, because you don't want to freak out the customer and make them think you're totally nuts. And I couldn't get it to go. but I was able to imprison it in the mirror. And I says to her, I says, "You're no wanting to use this mirror, are you?" And she's like, "No." I says, "Right." I says, "That's okay then." She's like, "How?" Because I've just trapped this thing in the mirror. Now, you have a choice. I can take it away or you can dispose of it yourself. I says, "But when you dispose of it, it has to leave your property whole and in one piece." And they're like, "Right, yeah, fine." That one went out to the scaffies that week. It was whole when it left their property. It wouldn't have been whole for very much longer after that, but
Yeah.
and they've never had any other issues in the house. One of the other things was a key ring, which I have been turning the house upside down the last hour looking for, and I can't find it.
And I bet you as soon as the stream ends, you'll turn around, it'll be sat there.
Exactly. Yeah. And this had been a gift from like the boss to an employee. And it's like all the longest serving staff got this gift. And they're firing away, and it's like, right, holidays, everybody gets a present. And basically, it looks like a little acorn. Each one of them is a different wood, and it's just 3 different kinds of wood. And it doesn't look anything special. But one of the employees was 100% convinced it was cursed. The boss had put a spell on it or whatever, and was just wanting rid of it. So I cleared their house for them as well, and I did a wee clearing on them as on both parties of the house as well. And then says, "Are you 100% sure you don't want this around?" And they were like, "Yeah, because there are doors slamming. You could hear people shouting and screaming at each other in a full-blown argument. There's nothing around this house. It's a freestanding house right next to the beach. You're not going to be hearing a domestic coming up for the beach because the sea's too loud. Scotland, after all." So they were 100% convinced they wanted rid of this. So I took it off them, and they didn't have any other issues for about 6 months. Then they had a whole different kind of issue. But that's another story for another time, because that was when one party of the two decided to hire somebody who does Santeria to get rid of the other party. And they almost succeeded. But that's another story for another day.
Oh, dear.
Nice person then.
Oh, yeah, lovely. If I meet him down in a dark alleyway, I want to make sure I've got a weapon on me.
Meet him and shake him warmly by the throat.
One that Ian mentioned yesterday, I've heard of it, but I don't really know the story about it, but that's the Hope Diamond. I have heard of it, but like it's not something that's really caught my attention, so I've never really looked into it.
It's if I can find it.
Yeah, I've got a picture of it right here.
Okay.
It's 45.52 carats.
Whew.
Pretty good size. Beautiful little diamond.
Says.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Wow, that is large.
Yeah, I've got a ring just like it.
It's a cracking diamond. Absolutely cracking.
It's a black diamond,
It
isn't it?
has an extremely nasty reputation. It's allegedly responsible for suicides, massacres, wild animal attacks.
The massacres would make sense. A diamond that size, yeah, people are going to want to kill for something like that.
Yeah, it's one of those that was stolen. Allegedly stolen from a statue of an Indian god. And that's how it came to Europe. interesting, very, very nasty. Its original owner tried to sell it in New York. After a few months, he committed suicide. Jumped off a skyscraper like you do.
Oh, lovely.
There's only one person I've heard of who's ever survived that. He jumped off something like the 50th floor and got blown back in through the window on the 30th.
Wow.
That's convenient.
And then decided he
there
didn't
was a
want to do it
story.
anymore because he changed his mind part way
There
down.
was a story similar. There was a story similar to that. I watched on Weird Ways People Have Died, and a married couple had been arguing because the husband had had an affair and was leaving the wife for his mistress. He packed his bags and walked out. She was so distraught she threw herself out the 9th floor, landed on top of him because he happened to be walking out the building. He died and she survived.
Yeah, I've heard that one as well. Yeah, sort of karma.
Yeah, that's real karma. Right, the first one I'm going to show you, if it'll load, is this one.
Oh.
Horrible little thing.
The Okiku doll.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were on these catalogues you use. Thought this
No,
was your new bride.
That's the Okiku doll. Story is father in Japan had gone on a business trip. He'd seen the doll and he thought, oh, my daughter's going to like that. He bought it for her, took her back. A couple of months later, she got malaria or some sort of disease and she passed away. They, as tradition has it, they made a little shrine in the house for the daughter. He went away for business, came back again, and the doll's hair had grown. So they'd cut it, and it kept happening. They had to keep cutting the hair. They got to the point that they had to move for his work. They moved and decided not to take the doll and left it at a temple. And apparently, even up until today, the monks of the temple still have to regularly cut the hair. And it's been DNA tested and shown to be human.
It's supposed to be haunted by the spirit of the little girl.
They believe the family believed it was the little girl holding it. Yeah. It's a very interesting story, but I'm not sure what to make of it.
There's one thing that occurs to me with it.
Mm.
It's with monks in Nepal or wherever, as you said. These kind of folks are renowned for being able to confine, control, and stop this kind of stuff. If they haven't been able to make it behave like a normal doll, that would imply to me that it's not a little girl. It's somebody that's got a lot of anger and vengeance about them, is what it would imply to me if they haven't been able to make it behave.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah. It's I don't it's a good story, but is it just story?
It's like a lot of them, unless
what your thoughts are.
you experience it yourself. It's unless you actually see it growing and everything. It's a bit of the doubting Thomas creeps in. I mean, it's in a Buddhist temple, and like Linda says, the spiritualism is such that they should be able to manage it.
Yeah.
But
I find it interesting, but is it just it's a sad story of a family? Because I've lost children myself, so I know how heartbreaking it is. Is it just a sad story and a way of trying to keep her memory going?
possibly, but if other people have witnessed the hair growing,
allegedly,
I mean, let's face it. I mean, where the hell's the hair coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it, as you say, if it is human hair. It's been DNA tested.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly.
I have looked and I can't find any reports of the DNA test, but I can only see like secondhand stories on like YouTube or on the web of allegedly it's been shown to be real human hair. But surely back in the 20s and 30s when that was made, human hair, people obviously getting a haircut, it would have been more normal to use real hair on a doll rather than the fake stuff.
Yeah.
But once it's cut, it wouldn't grow again, would it? Surely. So.
Well, no. And this is the thing. It's if it's growing.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, without witnessing it yourself.
It brings to mind the whole thing about people saying hair and nails grow after a corpse is buried. And it's not. It's just because the fluids drain, you shrink.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd be inclined to say, okay, has the hair grown or has the head shrunk?
Yeah. Over the years, I don't know what the doll's made from, but you know, whatever it's made, I'm assuming back then it would have been porcelain.
Quite possibly, but the thing with that is, even if the head shrank, if they keep cutting it,
I
mean, how much are they cutting off? Are they cutting one strand at a time?
Is the whole doll shrinking, making it look like the hair is growing?
Yeah.
But even so, it's a really creepy looking doll.
Yeah.
All dolls are bloody creepy.
Yeah, my brothers say that, both of them. They hate dolls.
I'm not a lover of dolls. I mean, my daughter, thankfully, didn't like dolls particularly.
Joe said your brother's scared of them.
Yeah, I take pictures every time I can of creepy dolls and send them to my brothers. they hate them so much.
It must have been about 3 or 4 years ago now. I went on eBay, which is notorious for haunted items. You know, to me, I've said to you, I don't know if it's been on live or in chat, but if someone's selling an item and it don't sell, they suddenly put the word haunted in front of it and then they get 1,000 bids for it. So, but I bought a doll that was allegedly over 100 years old and it was haunted. It was this, it was that, it was the other. In fairness, I only paid, I think, about 30 quid for it. It was next to nothing I paid for it. I was working at the time, so I could afford it. So I got it and I thought, you know, just in case it is 100 years old, I want to get it insured. So if it gets damaged, I can get it repaired. I went and took it to get checked to see what it was worth for the insurance. And they said, well, that doll's probably only about 10 or 15 years old.
Oh.
So they'd sold it as over 100 years old. And even with like the photograph of the little girl, allegedly, like a sepia type photo of the little girl holding the doll. And it turns out it was all faked.
Yeah.
Which is where we go back to AI. He's going to make our particular interest. So, yeah.
Joe, you must have come across quite a few legends over the years.
Haunted items? Sure. Quite a few of them, actually. But there's one I put a picture of it up here. First one on my list, anyway. If you want to bring that picture up. It's basically a picture of the Imperial State Crown that Queen Victoria used to wear. But that big red ruby right there in the front, that's Prince Edward's ruby, or the Black Prince's ruby. And that's supposedly cursed. It was given to him by the King of Seville in Spain back in the 1300s. And Mary, Queen of Scots, wore it. Charles I wore it. You know, it sort of went a little bit bad. Yeah, it sort of went a little bit bad for them. So it got the reputation of being cursed. Whether it is or not, I have no idea. But that was what I came up with for this thing.
And of course, you've got the Koh-i-Noor as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The trouble is with curses, it's easy to say something's cursed.
Of course it is. That's the Hope Diamond is cursed. This thing is cursed. There's so many things. King Tut's tomb, which I'm sure we're going to touch on later.
I was going to say we're going to go on that one, but like you said, how long is it after they wore it? Did they die? And how many others have had it?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like I said in either today or yesterday about King Tut's tomb.
Yeah.
It was opened in
23?
1923. And supposedly everyone there was cursed. The only death that happened within days of that was the death of one of their cats. And I think the first death was a barroom brawl where somebody got stabbed. And that was about 6 or 7 years later. And Howard Carter that opened it, he didn't die until 1939. So if it's a curse...
Right, and Carnarvon died quite a ways later too.
Well, he allegedly died. He did die of blood poisoning from a mosquito bite.
That happens on a daily basis in a lot of countries, though.
Yeah, exactly. So you start tying them up, and it's cursed. Was it the Egyptian government putting stuff about? They don't want people going into tombs for obvious reasons.
Could well be. Vast majority of the tombs all of the tombs that have been found so far have all been emptied.
Yeah.
So
what other sort of after they were put in?
What other sort of things have you personally come in contact with that are allegedly cursed or have an attachment? Is there a difference between a cursed item and an attachment to an item?
Oh, I think there is.
Yeah.
An attachment is, a ghost attaching itself. This is Busby Stoop. This is perfect.
Yes.
You know what? Funny you said that, Joe. Hold on. Funny you said that. That was one of the first things I'd found. Where did I put it? Oh, hang on. Where did I put it? I won't actually. I'll leave your one up for now. I've actually got a picture of the actual chair.
I did too, but I can't find it. I usually put everything in this folder called show, and it's not in my folder. So I must have moved it or deleted it or maybe not even saved it. But basically, this chair, this guy named Busby, it used to be his chair in the pub, in the pub. And after he died, they started realizing people who sat in that chair were dying as well. It took them a little while to figure that out. So Busby was executed in 1702. Yeah, 1702. Yeah. He was in North Yorkshire. But they started realizing that people were sitting in that chair. They were dying. So they said, maybe we ought to get rid of it. So they donated it to the museum.
Yeah, I believe that.
The thing with this, he died in 1702. He was hanged.
Right.
They didn't give the chair to the actual museum till 1978.
Well, it took that long to figure out everybody that sat in and died.
So how many people allegedly died in it? This is the thing. But it was also it was checked, wasn't it?
63. Allegedly 63 people have sat in it.
Yeah, but how many people die in pubs after sitting in chairs in pubs? Pubs by the very nature have a great footfall.
Yeah, they keep it hanging up on the wall so nobody sits in it.
Yeah.
I'm the one that goes and tests out all these dead man's chairs. Anytime I come across one, I'm like, right, I'll be sitting on that one then.
Yeah,
but you're safe. They're dead man chairs
as well, though. It was actually checked out by an expert on furniture, and he reckoned it. He actually dated it at 1840.
Yeah,
138 years after he died. So I don't think somehow that he was actually.
The story I heard is Busby was a counterfeiter. He got caught, and as he was being dragged away by the police, he said, "If anyone sits in my chair, a curse come upon him." it was sent to allegedly 63 people died in it. It had been taken over to America for X amount of time, and people had died over there. It was brought back to England in 1972. And when it was a furniture maker looked into it, he said the style and type of wood that was used in it is 130 years younger than the year that Busby got executed.
So it's a
Quite
counterfeit, just like
appropriate that he
Busby
was a
was.
counterfeit. Yeah,
He
same
wasn't
wavelength, Joe.
he was actually hanged for murder.
Ah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh, see, now the thing I watched about that said he was actually done for counterfeiting.
No, he was actually hanged for murder. He might have been a counterfeiter, as with a lot of these, the multi-skilled. But he was actually hanged for murder.
Yeah. We got 5 people watching us, so welcome wherever you are. Don't be shy. Come and say hello. Ian, don't bite often.
Only if they ask nicely.
And leave us suggestions for anything else that you might want to hear about and hear us discuss.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. One that Ian mentioned in Facebook chat a little while ago is an interesting way to go. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. You can mention it. So, and that Busby's chair apparently is the hooks it's on are 1.5 meters off the ground, just in case anybody accidentally sits on it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, like you say, it was hung in the pub during the war. And the story goes that any of the American airmen who actually sat in it never returned.
Yeah.
From the bombing raids.
Yeah.
Which, given the nature and the number who died, I'd have said that would be a fair number.
But it's like, when was
nothing to do with the chair.
Busby was the 1700s, weren't he?
1702 he was hanged, yeah.
1702. They reckon the chair went until about didn't actually come about till 1830.
Yeah. It was 138 years after he died.
Yeah. So very unlikely it's got anything to do with him. And not being funny, the sofa that I'm sat on, I got from a leather sofa I got from a charity shop. How many people that have sat on this sofa over the years have died?
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing, but I don't think it's nothing. It's a good story.
My sofa sitting right in front of me, I know for a fact 3 people who have sat on it have died.
Yeah, but I don't mean it's not a good sofa.
Yeah, well,
and that's only since I've had it. So
I was going to say, you won't keep offering in them cakes.
Your cooking's not that bad, really, is it? It's not that bad, I'm sure.
Like I said, just cover the graves with rare plants.
Yep. Then they can't dig them up.
Right. There's another one. Another one. This one, if we can get it up. I found this one quite interesting and kind of creepy. It's a Maori warrior mask. Now, allegedly, cool. I think it's creepy, but in a sense, it's actually quite beautiful, quite mesmerizing to look at. I think it's absolutely fantastic to look at. But allegedly, the story is Maori warriors, when they died, the masks were taken off, and as the masks were taken off, the spirit would go into it, and allegedly, any pregnant women go within a certain distance or touch it, they will miscarry.
Oh.
So it is a cursed item to a degree, but I don't know. I thought it was an interesting story. You know, I don't know how far back these stories go, but
the thing with things like that, why would a mask? The cynic in me asks, why would a mask cause that sort of injury? Why would why would a warrior's mask cause a miscarriage?
Yeah.
Maybe it only works on people, on ladies of the enemy tribe.
Possibly.
Yeah. Well, if it was of the same tribe, surely if the spirit was within the mask, and I can't say that they would be, but if the spirit was within the mask and their wife went to see the mask as a last goodbye to them, and they were pregnant, surely the spirit would want to keep the child alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Carry on their own.
exactly.
So
It may well be that, because there's, it's like only half the story's been passed down because the other half's lost in translation, perhaps. The other thing I thought of as well, why would the spirit pass into the mask? Well, depending how far back you go worldwide, there was that thing that if you eat a part of your enemy, you get their strength, and that was worldwide in every country. So if the spirit goes into the mask, that saves them from being absorbed by any enemies that might have killed them.
Yeah,
that's perfect if you're Conor McLeod, I suppose.
Which is why you get skulls used.
Well,
the brains eaten, because they reckon
the wee Sansas, the wee shrunken head.
Yeah, they take the brains and all their knowledge and bravery.
And then, of course, you've got some tribes in Papua New Guinea that still practice that.
And there's some places in Papua New Guinea as well that if they feel that their house is haunted, the whole village will get around and literally move the house. They'll literally put stuff underneath the house, put boxes on there, and literally drag it to another part of the area.
It's like some bits of Japan, if they believe a house is haunted, it'll sell for like $3 just to get rid of it because it's haunted.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's still true, but I know over in America, if a house is allegedly haunted, when you go to sell it, you have to declare the fact that it's haunted.
In certain states,
in certain areas, I've heard that said over here as well.
I've never heard that over here.
I was actually told when I was looking at one house when I got divorced. I was actually told by the estate agent, this house isn't haunted. I've got to tell you that because there's so many rumours about the house.
Oh.
Well, at the moment,
like I say, I can usually tell when I walk in any building whether the spirit there or what, and there was nothing in that house.
I must admit, I really do miss the activity from our Leyston flat. I miss laying in bed listening to the children running about and talking to each other. Yeah. In here, a couple of things I've had here, it's just like a shell. It's empty.
Yeah, same with this place. Yeah, occasionally you get that transient spirit coming through, but most part there's absolutely nothing here, and it drives me insane.
Yeah, it's
I'd rather have a ghost.
Like in my Leyston flat, I could put on me Audacity and probably get an EVP every single time I've done it.
My house is funny with Mary in my house. If when you go to bed, you have to leave all the dividing doors in the house open, because if you close them, you hear footsteps going through each and every room and each and every corridor. But if you leave them open, you don't get the footsteps. And I'm like, okay, what's your deal, Mary? I don't know if she had dementia or something when she went, but there's funny little bits and pieces like that strike me that perhaps she was a dementia patient. So, because you don't hear anything unless it's the footsteps because the doors are closed, or if there's a man who's not my other half in the house after 9 o'clock, and then the bathroom you get all sorts of tappets and things.
Well, the good news is on Paranormal Anglia, 16 people viewed it, and on here we're hovering between 5 and 6 people viewing us at the moment. So, thank you everybody. We really appreciate it. We're trying to get our numbers up. I've got it on the bottom there. Join in the conversation.
If you're on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. I was just about
Come
to
and
say
join us.
that.
Put comments.
Be sure
Join
you
in.
join us.
Yeah, that's what we want. We want the comments, the likes, and the subscribes for the algorithm. We've only been. This is like our 8th live now, is it? I think
8th or 9th, yeah.
Linda's second.
Mhm.
Linda's third, actually.
Third,
So
yeah.
it's our 8th one.
Yep.
So right, there was another one that I saw. Where is? Oh yeah, I thought somebody was going to put that one up. Saves me doing it. Oh, it is.
Yes.
I did not take this picture. Robert the doll, given to a young boy named Otto back in the early 1900s. He carried around with him all the time. When he finally got married and stuff, his wife did not like the doll being in the house, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that was kind of interesting. But one of the things is being polite around Robert. If you want to take his picture, take a photograph of him, you have to ask his permission.
Yeah.
There are hundreds, supposedly, of letters apologizing to Robert for having taken his picture without his permission. And then people have to write these letters to get the problem taken care of. Of course, that happens with a lot of dolls and things, too.
What I've heard is
dolls. And you wonder why I don't like dolls.
Well, dolls have been the container for souls and spirits for millennia.
Yeah.
So you build a doll, and that would keep the spirit of your loved ones. So
see, the question.
And now people pay to go to the Build-A-Bear store and basically do the equivalent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's always a thing.
I would love to go to a Build-A-Bear. I would love to go to a Build-A-Bear store. One of my EVPs, record it on there, put it in my kid's bedroom, and by remote control set it off sometime.
I want to go to a Build-A-Bear store and like curse or haunt a bag of stuffing and see how many people report their toys haunted. Just for shits and giggles.
That would be so much fun. Right, the Robert the Doll. What I Joe may know more about it than I, or you lot might know more about it than I do. I've been told that if you don't, allegedly, if before you take a photo, you don't ask permission, the image of your image will be perfectly clear, but Robert's image will be blurred.
That's one of the stories.
One of them, yeah.
Again, like you say, if you don't ask his permission, he's been blamed for car accidents, broken bones, people losing their jobs, people getting divorced. Right. You name it, he's been blamed for it. But it's one of those again. Is it coincidence?
Yeah.
Me and Missy are going through a really bad period, and we go, and all of a sudden I'm getting divorced, and it's that bloody doll.
I saw one recently where somebody had been to.
She's only just realised that we're live. Come on in.
One of the ones I saw recently, they went to a paranormal conference out wherever near the seaside fort that Robert lives in. And they didn't believe any of it. And they had amazing photos from the conference, from the speakers, the random people who turn up in costumes, the typical paranormal conference photos, amazing load of photos. Didn't believe the Robert thing, but went along for shits and giggles. Took a photo without asking permission. Went to have a look at the photos that they had taken earlier on that day. Every single photo had disappeared except the photo of Robert.
Interesting.
And I thought, that's a different one. So, yeah, I like it when they say they don't believe in it.
That's a vain doll.
Yeah.
Wasn't the guy called...
It's all about me. You sure it wasn't Greta Thunberg?
Yeah, well, we all know that.
I think for a change, this doll's actually got more weight on than the lady in question.
Yeah, got a lot more gravitas as well.
Yeah.
Robert the doll is in Key West, Florida.
That's it.
He was at their house in Key West, and then they moved him to a museum later on. So he's down the road in a museum in Key West.
Didn't Bilbo buy him?
Bilbo tried to, but I think they weren't having any of it.
Yeah. my brother and I were down there in Key West. We went down for a party weekend, and we wanted to go see Robert while we were there, but the house was closed that weekend. They were doing something, I don't know what, maybe private, whatever. But I want to go see it a little bit later, but it didn't go. Now, all the letters, like I was saying for Robert, all the people that took his picture and stuff, they're having problems. They're writing letters. Please forgive me, Robert. I'm so sorry, et cetera, et cetera. Well, there's a picture of Bodie, California, one of the buildings there at Bodie. Same thing happens here. So many people go and they pick up a stone or a piece of something from off the ground in Bodie, and they'll stick it in their pocket and they'll take it home. And all of a sudden, all sorts of crazy stuff starts happening to them. They have to send the item back to the Rangers, have the Rangers put it back, and they write a letter, I'm sorry, please, forgive me, that kind of thing. And that's one of the things that happens with that. So I figured that was an interesting equivalent. Robert the doll, take his picture, you have to, I'm so sorry. Bodie, I'm so sorry, here's the item back.
Is it a Native American site or something like that?
Oh yeah, it's in Northern California, close to California-Arizona border, up near Carson City, Reno.
You just reminded me of another story as well.
Yeah, I mean Robert the doll. He's
go for it.
He's had unseen films loosely based on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, does that just perpetuate the myth?
Who knows?
Yeah.
But
I think it helps.
I've never seen
hundreds of letters. Who knows? But they've got hundreds of letters of Bodie. They've got hundreds of letters of Robert the doll. People apologizing and just saying, I won't ever do that again. That kind of things. Who knows?
There's a few like that.
Various originally called Otto. Is that what his name was? The guy that originally.
The boy's name was Robert Otto.
Yeah,
I believe.
Robert Eugene Otto.
Eugene, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look into it though, I'm sure.
The doll
if you
itself,
look into it, I'm sure says that he had schizophrenia.
The descriptions on one of the documentaries I saw, the descriptions of how he was as a child certainly implies there was something along those kind of lines. And the fact that it was locked up in the loft when he got married, and then when his parents both died, he went and took the doll back and resumed as he was in his childhood, locking himself away with the doll, talking to the doll. So I think there's certainly some mental health issues going on there, which is, of course, it.
And it seems to have perpetuated the myth.
Yeah. It's one of them things that skeptics don't get. It's only those that have dealt with kind of things like this that understand. The more a person can tell you that this thing's haunted, this lighter's haunted because it doesn't work for anybody else but me, right? But if that person has mental health issues, there seems to be more likely that there is some kind of strange energy interaction with them and their thing. And I've seen it with a lot of things where I've had, whether it's house clearances or I think this object's got somebody with it, can you check it out for me? The ones that have better reactions and do have attachments of various things do tend to be people with mental health issues. I'm not saying that because you've got a mental health issue, you're going to have a spook. I'm not saying that. I'm just going by what I've come across in my investigation.
What you're saying there, though, Linda, it makes sense because they do tend to be more. They're not as tied up in the modern world.
Yeah,
they are.
There's a very fine line between a medium and a schizophrenic, and some people dance across either side of it.
They are more in touch with the personal
makes
side,
me
which is
wonder
why
because
they feel a lot more
I've-
than we tend to.
Mm-hmm.
Like kids.
That makes me wonder because I'm open about my mental health conditions that I've had since the age of 9 and the things that have happened to me that caused it. So I'm wondering if that's other than here. I'm wondering if that's why I've had so many places that I've moved to that have had activity in them.
Maybe it's opened you up to it, though.
Yeah.
Maybe all that stuff is opened up, and that's why you can see it.
I've been witnessing things. I've been witnessing things since the age of 3. My depression kicked in at the age of 9. And then I think the BPD kicked in just after my son's death 16 years ago. So
I'm a firm believer that we all have it in us, the ability.
Yes.
But our modern way of life has kicked it out of us.
Well,
we are taught at an early age, apart from religion, we are taught at an early age that certain things don't exist.
Right.
Well, see, that's the one thing. The one thing that I think religion has actually gotten correct. No offense to anybody who is devout, whatever umbrella you use. When you have something that would automatically make you a victim in life, be it abuse, mental health issues, physical disability, or an addiction, that opens you up, paints a target on your backside for any negative spirit to come around.
Yeah.
But then you have the choice of, are you going to research this and find out a way of handling it? Or are you going to be even more of a victim and attract even more garbage to your back?
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of the mediums and a lot of the people who help fix these situations, I think that's why we're all wounded warriors, both the religious and the non-religious. We're all wounded warriors from some description or another.
Right.
Religion, to me, religion's just a means of control.
Yeah.
We are,
for the most part,
indoctrinating you into a way of life. And most religions, if you actually follow the tenets of them, Christianity and all the rest of it is love and peace. It's how you twist it.
Yeah.
It's all religions are brainwashing coal. Because I've had conversations.
That's any. It's not just religion. You only got to look at politics. They're exactly the same. But people, there are people who are, if I can put it like, easily led. You see these people being interviewed. You're at this march, you're at this rally. Why are you here?
That's polite for you.
Well, yeah. I didn't know whether you'd made this child friendly.
I've not done that bit yet.
But,
right, here's one for you.
Oh, the wedding dress. Yes.
I'll have to get me.
Carl,
Anna
didn't you wear
Baker's
something
wedding
like that
dress.
at your last wedding?
No, it's the one before. Joe.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah, it was the one before. I had a few more ribbons on it, though. This dress is... I have no idea where in the world she comes from, so I don't know if she's English, American, Australian, you name it.
She's American. She was born in Pennsylvania.
Oh, right, okay. Because the thing I watched about it didn't say where she was from. Allegedly, she died in 1914. She was put in the dress. The dress is in that cabinet, and allegedly it moves. Allegedly, it moves on its own. I looked at. There's written reports on the internet that claim that people have got recorded evidence of it moving. It's allegedly an airtight cabinet, and it does look like an airtight cabinet. So it's unlikely, if it is airtight, to be a breeze. There are reports that people have filmed it moving, but I cannot find any video footage of that at all. I have looked.
It's at the Baker Mansion in Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
and there's Anna in it.
She was all set to get married, and her father put the mockers on it.
Mm.
That's a different dress.
Yeah, and that
entirely.
Allegedly. Well, I've just gone off of Google Images and found, because this was like a last minute one.
No, that's shaped. The one that's on the hanger is just a straight up and down.
Yeah, totally different.
It
might have been her, isn't it? But,
yeah, it might be her in the photo.
But her father put the mockers on the marriage, and she became more and more reclusive and bitter. And it's allegedly her spirit that haunts the dress. It was never worn for what it was intended.
What it was intended for.
So,
could there be an feasible earthly explanation for the alleged movements?
Drafts, doors,
not an airtight container.
See, now that's what I would say, but they claim it's in an airtight cabinet.
Are they anywhere near the fault line for earthquake, tremors?
Yeah.
No, not really.
I was wondering, is the building near a road and like a lorry going past, like on their way to a delivery?
Idea.
Could that cause that?
Well,
I don't know how old the building is. I'm assuming
there's supposed to be cold spots around it as well. Ghostly apparitions seen around it, which is supposed to be Anna.
Yeah,
cold
I think Joe's
spots
having a look.
Sorry, my inner geek is gonna demonstrate itself at the moment. Cold spots could be explained if it is an airtight container. It could effectively be a vacuum, which will absorb any energy around it.
I was actually going to say that.
Yeah,
we're up to 20.
Well, that doesn't explain the whispers and the sobbing.
Yeah.
That allegedly go on with it.
But you hear this story a lot with wedding dresses and things, and I'm always like, well, yeah, I can see the logic, but unless I see or hear it myself.
Didn't we say something about like this when we done the White Lady video, Joe?
Yeah. I don't know if we did. I don't know if we did the same one. But
no, I don't think we've done the same one. But
put up a picture of the map.
Similar thing to what Linda just said.
Yeah, I just put up a picture of the map of the area, so you can see if it's close to a road or whatever.
Does it say when the building was built?
It was. Yeah, I just ran across that just a minute ago.
See, there is a lot around it, isn't there? There's a lot there that could potentially explain it happening.
Mid 1840s.
So likelihood it's a wooden floor.
Very possible, but the building looks like it's pretty tough.
Yeah, it's quite far back in its own grounds as well.
Yeah, it's not like right on a busy road at all.
Yeah. See, my brain automatically went, "Oh, cheering crowds from the baseball and such," but it's there's a good bit of grass and such between it and them.
Let me show you a picture of the house itself. 1 second, I'll grab it.
If a lot of people go into the building just to look around it, or ghost hunters or whatever it may be, if it's wooden flooring, somebody could be stood by there. Somebody could be in a completely different room above the side or wherever.
Take a look at the house. I just put the picture up.
Let's have a look. Ooh.
I don't think there's many wobbly floors.
Wow. Yeah, that looks beautiful. Like the church in the middle of our high street.
That looks more like mausoleum.
Yeah. Well, he was a rich man.
Yeah, he's absolutely minted to have them columns and such.
He was an iron master or something.
Yeah.
So in the
time, are there any pictures of the inside, Joe?
Yeah. Just a second here.
Right, so we know it's only 2 floors. So we know it's only 2 floors. It's from the 1800s, so floorboards are likely to be wooden.
Yeah, but there's probably huge. Just
With
looking for a
columns
good
like
picture
that at the
here.
front, there's going to be massive support columns within the structure as well.
You bet.
Yeah.
Massive support columns. There's going to be
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff, and the beams holding floors up are going to be
Yeah.
solid. Here we are. I got a picture I'll put up right now of the study or something like that inside. Where is it? Where is it? There it is.
Is this the room that she's in?
No, that's what I was looking for. There's several pictures of wedding dresses, but is this the one or is it? I don't
See,
know.
Oh, that's
there's
a
a
nice
lot. That's
right.
definitely a wooden floor. There's a lot of items very close to each other. I think it could be potentially be just movement of the floorboards for the amount of people going in and out.
Maybe so. I just put up another picture of a wedding dress. I don't know which one is the right one, though. Is it this one or is it the one that you had up earlier? I don't know.
Let's have a look. There's that. Oh no, hang on. I think I've deleted. Oh, I've deleted it. I've not deleted it.
When was the wedding supposed to have been?
1914. 1914. I think you said.
Born in 1852.
She died. Yeah. Sorry, she died in 1914.
Yeah, right. That would be more fitting for somebody of money in 1850, whatever.
Yeah.
The other one I think is either earlier or later, but it's definitely not someone who had that sheer amount of money. So
yeah.
I mean, they're similar
they're
style.
Two completely different dresses, aren't they?
Yeah. That one's more straight up and down, and the one with the bonnet is definitely more shaped. So that screams more 1850s to me than the other one.
That one to me just screams a little house on the prairie.
Aye, the plain one on the hanger, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's definitely folk who didn't have the money, whereas the one is more Mina Harker kind of style.
Yeah, yeah. So your thoughts on that one? Do you think that she's attached to it? Do you think there's a natural explanation?
Well, she was upset that she couldn't get married, right?
Yeah, we said though on the we said on the White Lady video, how many stories of these white ladies is it that they're supposed to have got married and this happened or that happened and they're unhappy and they're hanging around.
Yeah, but remember, you're also talking about a time period when women weren't even allowed to say hello without the male's permission to speak.
Correct.
So there's an awful lot of upset women for that time period.
Yeah. Right. Well, you wouldn't have been there.
No, they'd have killed me by the time I was 10.
like the Hotel Del Coronado in San Diego on Coronado Island. There's a lady that was there who was waiting for her fiance to show up. He never did, whether he died at sea. He was supposedly a sailor or something, but he never showed up. So she threw herself out the window. And now you see the lady in white there at Hotel Del all the time, supposedly. I've been to Hotel Del many times and I've never seen it. But
where's the one where the
I have no idea what's going on. There's
going to be a storm. People walking along the beach, seeing, and he warns him of a storm. That was similar sort of lines. They were supposed to meet up, and he got killed and mugged or something, and died on the beach. And
there's a man on a beach somewhere in Cornwall who's supposed to warn people of a storm, but I don't know any story to him. His clothing is kind of 1930s, 1940s civilian clothing.
Oh, this was, I'm sure this was America, and it's
yeah, here it is. South Carolina ghost lore. The gray man is a ghost reportedly seen on the coast of Pawleys Island, South Carolina, that warns residents of a coming severe storm and hurricane. Although there are many variations of this legend, most say the gray man was first seen in 1822, 3 years before the town government was incorporated. Last time they saw him was in 2018, just before Hurricane Florence hit. And then Hurricane Hugo in 1989, they saw him again.
It's nice to hear ones that have recent sightings.
Yeah.
So do you think, if I personally don't believe in all of them. I know I mucked around last week.
Was that not some tragedy that stopped him meeting someone or other?
The ghost of a young man traveling from Charleston to see his fiancée in 1822. On the way, he and his horse were caught in quicksand-like pluff mud in the marshes before Polly's Island, and he died there. His spirit has haunted the shore nearby ever since. So he was on his way to go see his fiancée. They never got married.
Same scenario, different.
But it's not. We've said in previous streams about like Landguard Fault, for instance. You have Maria, who was a Portuguese woman, and Portuguese women, as a rule, are absolutely beautiful a lot of the time. The English women back then were really jealous of her beauty, tried to say she stole a silk handkerchief. They sent her fiance off into Felixstowe for a 3-day, whatever he was meant to be doing, to patrol the town. When they came back to get revenge, to try and get rid of her, they had him done for being AWOL when he was killed in front of her. And she, as Joe said about women throwing herself off, she supposedly threw herself off, and she's been seen now, supposedly in a white wedding dress as well. So that harks back again, to the white lady stories that are about everywhere.
I often wonder with some of these stories of, is it a wedding dress, or was it just the middle of summer and it was roasting, so she was just wearing a white dress?
Could have been, or did they just bury her in a white dress and that's what she's wearing still?
Yeah, that's it.
Who knows?
Yeah. But I remember when I first got with Heidi, 13 years ago, she was telling me about how her and one of her friends, they'd been walking down, they'd gone to meet, because her dad and his brother always had a cup of tea and chips at the cafe that was by the side of the docks, which is literally next to the fog. So they'd gone down there to meet him, see him, and whatever. And then her and I can't remember what the woman's name was now, but they went walking along the beach and they saw a woman in a white dress in a window at Landguard Fault in a part of the building that's got no flooring in it. And allegedly, yeah. Heidi is a believer, especially the house that she's in now, the amount of activity she gets there. But years back, she was like, yeah, it's probably something there, but I'm not 100% sure. So she said that she found that kind of weird back then. But as me and Joe said in previous stream, it always seems to be a white lady. Like La Llorona is almost identical to Sleeping Beauty story.
Yeah.
There
has been there's been a lot of stories linking La Llorona to Sleeping Beauty.
Well, it's an almost identical story, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you say that if you actually read across different cultures, how many stories that tie up?
Yeah.
Like Robin Hood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like there's so many different variants.
Mm.
It's one of the things I use regularly. The Bible, the Torah, and the Quran all tell you the same stories. They just have different names.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what people don't understand is that the Gospels that we have, that everyone takes for gospel, stories written at the time, there are hundreds of Gospels.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The Catholic Church just...
That's what I said to you like I was saying to you in the chat earlier, and the Christian I was talking to on TikTok, he believed in the virgin birth, but Genghis Khan and Alexander the Great were allegedly virgin births. But with them, at least, you've got swords from that period of time. You've got clothing from that period of time. You've got written documentation from that period of time. And there is more proof. But I do completely see your point. I've got one here that's not going to upset anybody.
Oh, yes.
Here we go.
Yes.
Had to be done.
Who wants
Lovely
to take this?
Annabelle.
Oh, we lost Ian again.
Ian, where'd you
Scared
go?
him off.
He'll be
He must have insulted her and she scared him off.
Yes. Little bogger.
I put Annabelle up.
I'm sorry, Annabelle. Letters in the post.
But I was looking at something recently, and allegedly that's not even the original Annabelle doll. It's the same style, not the same doll.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. There's umpteen. She was allegedly a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah,
which this is, but this is just a replica of it.
That's Raggedy Ann right there. But supposedly, wasn't the original one stolen? Isn't that what the story was?
Allegedly, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's one that I'll see if I can find it, but I'll leave this.
Isn't she?
I want to hear your opinions on this
Warrens
one
as well.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
When they made the Annabelle the movie, it kind of irritated me that they went with that other doll. That was absolutely horrible.
Yeah, it's
scarier than what that would be, though.
Yeah.
Oh, what? No, I think this would be scary.
When something looks so innocent and does weird shit like that, that can be even scarier.
Yeah, when it's
when they used for the movie, just
around the room, walks around after you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You come home and the bloody thing sat in the chair where you know full well you left it upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. That thing would be going on a bonfire.
Wasn't it a story? Wasn't the story that it was a nurse that was given it by her mum?
Yeah, her mum found it.
She had a roommate and a boyfriend, and it kept a boyfriend or something.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And the crayon notes on bits of paper.
1970.
Okay. Oh, we lost Ian again.
It is actually a 6-year-old girl that haunts it.
Allegedly, yeah.
Or at least that's what he was telling the nurse and her flatmates.
Yeah.
Hartford, Connecticut, 1970.
Now, the thing is, with these haunted items, is it a spirit within the item? Is it a spirit that just hangs around the item? If it is a spirit of a whatever it was, you said a 6-year-old little girl that died, in the 1970s or whatever it was, 50 years on, is she really going to be standing by the side of a doll? Or is she going to, or would she go, you know what, I've passed away now, I'm going to evolve and move on?
Well, if she is 6-year-old, it's going to be more likely, ooh, shiny, let's go have a look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got, along with similar lines to your question, whether she's attached to the item and why hasn't she moved on. I've got a very good friend who lives out in Arizona who bought a painting of an older gentleman at a garage sale, flea market, something. It was a really neat painting. She really liked it, thought it was cool. And she went and she put it up on the wall at the house just because it was such a neat painting. And within a couple of weeks, her son started asking her who the guy is walking around the house. Nobody else saw the guy. Her son did. Where are you? Where are you? Who's this guy? Who are you seeing? And he goes, that guy right there, pointing at the painting. And Sully was about, 12, 13 when this was going on? And she came to me and she told me this story. And I said, well, Why don't you just go take the painting and put it in your storage unit across town and see what happens? So she took that. Yeah, that's not quite it, but it's close. But she took the painting and went and took it and put it in the storage area across town for a while. And the picture of the guy wasn't seen at all around the house. I said, okay, now bring it back into the house. This was a month later, 2 months later. Bring it back into the house, but put it in the garage behind something so Sully doesn't know it's back in the house. And she did, and Sully started seeing the guy walking around the house again.
Interesting.
I absolutely trust this lady and have for centuries now. So
that is interesting.
Yeah, and I always think of that. That's such an interesting story. And
I'll take you this beauty's Ian that put this one up.
Yes. This is the one we were talking about the other week.
Yeah.
The Anguished Man.
Yeah.
This is the one that supposedly he mixed his own blood in with it.
Yeah, allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly, and then committed suicide.
Yeah, we got a 5th viewer, so welcome wherever that is. Come and say hi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can tell you the painting doesn't look like that anymore. I'm just going to send Carl what it looked like in 2014 when I gave it a cuddle. You think I'm kidding?
I actually like it.
Is that really something you want to cuddle with?
I just wanted to prove them wrong.
I'm of the same mind, Linda. I go poke them.
Yeah, I mean, I got
when you go on and invest, you don't provoke the spirit. Sort of the opposite.
Let me take that. If you chat among yourselves for a second, I know what I'll do here, Linda. Hold on.
It's an old photo,
Right.
2014.
Well, I'll have to take my glass. I'm getting a headache. Right, I'm running. If you guys natter among yourselves for 2 seconds, I'll quickly grab it.
Natter.
But no, I mean, as I said before, I got a different connection with the painting than the one that's advertised. Yeah. So I don't know who's attached to what. If somebody's attached to the painting, if somebody was attached to the guy that takes the painting round, or what. Yeah. But the most reaction I got in that room was the children who lived in the castle 200 years beforehand.
Yeah, so, but we've said it ourselves. How often do you go to a place that's allegedly massively haunted and you get absolutely nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet you walk into a pub, you walk into a building and, hello, who are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does anyone know you?
Yeah.
The funniest one I had was I was on the bus, one of the town services, and I was chatting to the bus driver as I was getting off because I was like almost the last one off. And the boy says, "Right, that's me going back to depot now." I'm like, "No, you're not. You've still got a passenger." And he's looking in the mirror. He's like, "No, I haven't." I says, "You have that second seat there." And I went and stood next to the guy, and the guy looked up at me. Bus driver couldn't see him in the mirror. So, but that was another story that went on for a few years. A few of the drivers refused to drive that bus until I was speaking to one of them, and I says, "Do you know where he used to live or where he would get off of this bus at?" And he's like, "Yeah." I says, "Right, well, next time you're on that same bus on that route, stop and give him time to get off, even if there's nobody else getting on or off, and problem should go away." And right enough, when he did that, the problem did go away. So
he missed his stop.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. That took a minute or two.
That's all right. It's an ancient photo.
And there we are, Linda, with
the anguish.
Is that a map behind you there?
That is a map behind me. That is in the anteroom just before the nursery of Drum Castle in Drum, Aberdeenshire.
So, I don't know why, but I'm actually my attention drawn more towards that map than it is the actual picture.
Yeah.
yes, that is a creepy as hell picture. I don't think
Looks
I'd
like
want
me
it
at my
up on my wall.
my wedding photo.
You
That's
were the
me first
bride.
thing every morning. That's me before I've had my insulin in the mornings. So, but yeah, we was on about this one.
Yeah.
So, I don't like. I personally don't like the war. I don't. Obviously, as people, I don't know them, but what they stood for, I personally don't like the Warrens. They've been debunked too many times. Alleged. It's like with the Enfield poltergeist story. I'd heard that Lorraine was ill, so she hadn't left the hotel room. Ed had gone to the actual house. He was talking with Maurice Gross, and he said, "Yeah, I can get rid of the demons in this house, but it's going to cost you £10,000." And obviously, back then, that was a hell of a lot. It's a lot of money nowadays.
Still a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, it's still a lot of money if you ain't got it. And basically, he didn't even get the chance to finish his cup of tea. They threw him out of the house. Yet the story is by the Warrens in their books and things that they was there the whole time, and it was Ed that got rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing with the Warrens is it was a business.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like we've said before.
Whoever
These things sell. Yeah. They say these things sell. What you gonna say? Or nothing happened.
Yeah.
Or are you gonna big it up because that's not gonna sell your books if you go, yeah, we were there 5 hours and absolutely naff all happened.
Yeah, you're right, Ken. I do need a top up.
Yeah.
I am brew.
Hey?
But no, there's so many stories I've heard about them, and there's like even video footage that when Ed and Lorraine were on a TV show over in America, and they got 100% debunked right to their faces. The proof was there that they had lied, and Ed actually got up and attacked one of the other guests. You know, there's a lot of negativity out there that I've heard. Like there's a story. How true it is, I don't know. But there's a woman that claims that from the age of 13, she was having a sexual relationship with Ed, and Lorraine had paid for multiple abortions. So there's a lot of negative stories. There's more negative stories than there are positive stories.
Watching,
even with like the world famous Amityville.
Yeah, that's after the event, though.
Yeah,
and a lot of people have tried to knock them, tried to put them totally debunk them. And what's the best way of doing that?
Yeah.
You know yourself, if you say something long enough, loud enough, people are going to believe it. Personally, I think
but it's things like you've got. I think they started with good intent.
Yeah.
As do they all.
I think they started with good intent.
Yeah, I think they started with good intent, but like I say, it became a business. And then there were other people who were in that business. What you're going to do? They're rivals, so you're going to slate them. You're going to, you know yourself. I mean, my ex-wife did.
I'm guessing that person who commented is Colin. Yeah.
I mean,
but no, it's not. With
you get divorced. You know
Amityville,
yourself,
for instance. Lorraine's going, oh, this thing.
Yeah, you get divorced.
But Lorraine was saying,
and you just get slated by your ex.
Yeah.
And that's what people are doing to them.
Fairness, I'm sure that's not really this one.
From watching the interviews and stuff, it seems that yes, they did absolutely start with the best of intentions, but on a pure personal human level, without all the spiritual stuff. Ed, in 90% of the interviews with the two of them, Ed comes across as being very controlling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's how things had gone off rail one way or another, presumably Cash. But,
Thing is, though, not in
I can
a
only say
nasty
that's
way.
my
Again,
impression.
you said it yourself earlier on, Linda. He was a product of his time.
Mm-hmm.
That's how women were expected to be, and he was a domineering, misogynistic product of his time.
Yeah.
The little woman did what she was told and when she was told.
Mm-hmm.
Ian's literally just taken the words completely out of my mouth there, because I was going to say exactly the same thing. Back then, it was known to be like that.
Yeah.
You know, or as one of this one is kind of a humorous story. If I remember to download the image. All right, hold on 2 seconds. It's not. Come on, upload. The image isn't uploading for some reason.
Well, it is.
Come on.
While that's
Yeah, here we
uploading.
go. Yeah, I've got it. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, you saying, Ian?
Yeah, I was going to say, while that's uploading, here's one. Everything we've discussed so far has had negative connotations. You very, very rarely ever hear of anything being haunted.
That's done good.
Yeah.
But it's like we were saying in chat the other day, you hear about how all these Catholic people get possessed by demons and talking tongues and all this, that, and the other. But then there's the Lorenzi Venum case, which was a girl supposedly haunted and possessed, and it was all positive, the stories for it. So,
but
as Ian said before, it doesn't sell, does it?
No.
If you go like,
bad news sells.
If he's like, I've got this cup and it was haunted, and since I've had that cup, I've had the best cups of coffee my whole life. It's a boring story. But if you say I've got that cup, and
then everyone who's drunk out of it, other than me, has died.
I think the strongest bit of the Lorenzi Venum case is that one of the sets of parents ended up having a complete breakdown because I can't remember if she was the first one or if she was in the second book. These stories are supposedly lifted by David Sinclair from the Vatican archives. Yeah. And these are the ones that I spent 10 years hunting down the last of the trilogy. Lorenzi Venum, and I'm sure it was her and one of the other girls in one of the other stories. One had already died, and the second one was talking about her parents and stuff, and actually went to live with the parents of the dead girl for a while. And the worst bit I thought of that was that the parents ended up having a complete breakdown, which is understandable, you know.
Could that have been just from the sheer amount of pressure they were under for people knocking at the door constantly?
Perhaps. They weren't. The places that they lived weren't like 5 minutes down the road. I think there was like 5 states between them.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. And this is horse and cart times that we're talking about. It's not jump in the car. You know?
Yeah.
But the one thing I did find interesting,
you've got to really mean it to want to go and do it.
Yeah, I think it was Lorenzi's exorcism. I need to look up the second girl's name because it's going to annoy me now. I'm looking in the corner where the books are sat on the shelf. The either Lorenzi's one or the second girl's exorcism. She described the Antichrist and what he would do and yada, yada, yada. Or should I say Legion described the Antichrist. Now, bear in mind, these books were written in the 60s, 50s, 60s, lifted from the Vatican archives from 1800 and whatever and early 1900s.
Yeah.
And what this Antichrist was supposed to be like was a perfect description of Saddam Hussein in the late 1980s.
Well,
And
I
I
haven't
thought
heard
that
that.
was pretty weird. That struck me.
I'll have to look back because it's been a lot of years since I've.
But there's Child Possessed, Mind to Kill, and The Devil Rocked Her Cradle are the 3 books that David Sinclair put out, and they're why he got banned from the Vatican. His books were banned by the Vatican, then he was banned from the Vatican because he'd gone and he was someone who genuinely had access. He was a pastor or something. He genuinely had access, but after he published these books, he didn't have access, and the books ended up being banned by the Vatican until about 1982 or something. So,
right. Well, here's one for you.
Cute.
Hell no.
Here's one for you. The allegedly demonically possessed Talking Elmo. Now, the story is that a mother's, I think it was California, had bought this for her son's 5th birthday. As the battery started wearing, it was one of these ones that you could talk to and it would respond, and however they work, I don't know, I've never seen one.
Yeah.
But allegedly, as the battery started dying, it started saying "Kill James," which is the name of the little boy that owned it.
Saw that the other day.
Now, the only trouble with that is you could, with some of these shops that you go into, you can press the button that says "Try me" and it'll repeat it. You know, it's like people go in the shop and they'll make silly noises and it'll dance. It makes it sound like the toys having sex. So these things you can record onto it. Did somebody in the family, another family member or a friend, do it to try and freak the kid out for what they thought was fun, or was it actually something that could have potentially imprinted itself?
We used to do it with all the Teddy Ruxpins in the toy shop and look around to see who was coming up the aisle after you had put an appropriate insult on the Teddy Ruxpin. So it played as they walked past.
With my eldest sons, I used to try and get their Furbies to swear. So, but yeah, is it that it was actually something that attached itself to it, or is it more likely that somebody thought it would be funny?
So I think it's more a case if someone thought it'd be funny, because it didn't have, like you say, it had a database that could say over 150 names or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's
one
a funny one. It's a humorous one.
It's weird when you hear it, because I watched a video of it earlier today, actually. And it is weird and creepy when you hear it, but when you see, you could have so many names programmed into it and yada, yada, yada. How much of it is batteries dying, data failing, modern stuff given up, and just your brain going, oh, it sounds like it's saying that. Because you know that whole thing where you hear something completely different to what's been said.
You hear it on every bloody haunted program, EVP. You hear of it. Kill him! Kill him! Yeah.
The Haunted Elmo doll. Did it happen on a bunch of them, or did it happen on just the one? Because if it's a physical thing where batteries running down and all this, I can see it happening on a lot of them. But if it's just this one,
there is that. Yeah,
it sort of raises a question. What was the reason?
Yeah.
What happened to the dog?
I don't know. I don't know where.
I think it was just literally binned. I think he just got binned in the end.
It's like Joe says.
My Tom that we lost everything again. There we go. My Tom that went missing for 5 weeks, he's got to the stage that he wants to go back out again. But I haven't had
Well,
it done
she's
yet. I haven't
wandering
been able to
around the
get to
house with her ears on red alert, looking for where the cat noise is coming from.
Oh, he gets on my nerves. He gets on my nerves when I'm trying to sleep at night. Now, here's a brilliant one. I love this one. I've seen the video for it loads and loads of times, and I watch it just because it's so stupid. It makes me laugh.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
this one. Oh, what?
Love this.
Oh,
This one.
Yes.
This has got to be the greatest possessed item story I've ever heard. I don't know if any of you that are more than welcome to tell the story for anyone that's watching that doesn't know about this one, because I think I'd laugh too much while I was trying to tell it.
yeah, I'd be the same.
I'll leave this one to either Joe or Ian.
Go ahead, Ian.
I
I remember exactly what happened. I thought you downloaded the video.
No, I've not downloaded the video, unfortunately. There is another
Satanic Toast
video. This supposedly, yeah, the Satanic Toaster. The toaster that's allegedly possessed by the devil. Hold on, let me save this image quickly.
Yeah, it's.
There's another.
It's altering the voice.
Got the other picture here for you.
Eli Valek.
I've got the other picture here if I got it. Of course, it didn't want to show up. Come on.
I'm sorry, I managed to find it. I'll just got to upload it.
It burned Satan Lives into a toast and made
Not really.
evil sounds and even shot flames out. Allegedly.
I just looked at the picture again, and it's yeah. It doesn't look like it was burned.
I'm just.
What is it?
I have found.
Same thing happened with Robert the Doll picture that I tried to download.
Yeah, it's.
So you trying to download Robert picture, you didn't ask his permission, Joe.
Oh, I didn't take the picture though. It should have been saved.
Yeah.
Well, Robert's cursing you.
Here, I got a picture of the supposed toast that came out of it.
Oh, well,
there it is.
You found it, have you? Right.
Yeah. This does not look like it was burned into the toast.
Oh my god! Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's your next door neighbour having a prank at your expense, Mrs.
Love it.
But the trouble is, there's people out there that believe this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see if I can get the video.
Yeah, well, if you see if you get the video, we'll pop it up. We'll pop it up if it.
When you see the video, you can totally tell the one who's interviewing her thinks she's off her rocker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is bad in journalism because the whole point is you're supposed to make folk believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that has got to be one of the best supposedly haunted item things I've ever heard before. I just think it's absolutely brilliant story. It's just the craziness of it and the fact that people out there did actually believe it. But as Ian was saying about the paintings and that, and showed that one of the Anguished Man, you've got the crying boy stories that the son printed up. That there's house fires, and that was the only painting that was used. Years later, it was proven that the materials that the son used were just dodgy materials, and they weren't burning. Houses have fires on a regular basis, you know. A mum busy looking after one of the kids and forgets the cookers on or something. It can easily be done. And if the painting is made of a material that won't burn easily, it is going to survive.
Yeah.
You know, but it made good stories and good headlines for the newspaper.
And the Sun made a fortune out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you manage to find that video, Ian?
Yeah, it should be.
Right, let's see if it plays.
Right.
Right here where it says one slice, we heard, I am the devil.
What kind of voice did the devil have?
A very low voice, I'd say sounded like Eli Wallach.
Have you saved any of this satanic toast?
Yes, I did save it because I wanted to be sure that somebody else would see it. Now this one, can you see that, Richard? Satan lives.
Sorry.
Is the toast still?
We still have trouble off and on with it, yes.
Oh, here we
That
go.
piece of toast makes me want to be a believer.
It seems to be aware. Oh!
Why have you kept this toast?
Well, Richard, you know, when all is said and done, it makes
It makes good toast. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I know I messed around with it last week, and as Linda said, you know, you ain't gonna want to use it. Like anyone ain't gonna want to use dildo or anything. But you don't hear of anyone saying I bought a dildo off of Ann Summers and it's possessed by the devil, or my toilet brush is haunted.
It might make it work better. Sorry.
Every time I use it, the lube's got sand in.
Or chili sauce. Someone
yeah,
stopped my lube. I suppose if a dildo was possessed by the devil, as the woman orgasms, you go, hell yeah. But no, my point is, it always seems to be, joking aside, it always seems to be the same items. It's either a doll, or it's a cabinet, or it's a piano, or it's a chair. You don't hear about, I don't know, a haunted stereo, or a haunted kettle, or a haunted coffee cup. You know, it always seems to be the same items every time, like a necklace or a doll or something like that.
I said to you earlier that you'd reminded me
I think
of
that
a
was
story.
Oh yeah, go on.
But wouldn't it have to be a common item that somebody uses all the time? I mean, something that you'd get attached to.
Yeah, but women do use dildos a lot of the time and do get attached to them.
That we know of. How many people we're going to talk about it?
Yeah, there is that. Yeah.
There's enough videos out there, Joe, so
No,
so I've been told.
The story that you reminded me of.
Yeah.
Well, you hear stories from like Chillingham Castle and all sorts of other places that the doorknobs get nicked.
Yeah.
And then the doorknobs come back in the post with a letter saying, yeah, my life is rubbish since I nicked this, so I'm sending it back to you.
There's been stories of that of rocks from the volcanoes in Hawaii, people sending it back and with letters to Pele. But
one of the buildings I work in had its original pathway down to what used to be a harbour 500 years ago. And half of the pathway has been nicked. People take a single stone. Literally half of it has gone in the 23 years that I've been working with the company. And it's like, okay, that's random, but we haven't had any of them being posted back. But we had a lady from Texas come into the cathedral one day, and she handed me, remember the little plastic tubs for the camera films? She handed me one of them, and she's like, my son-in-law wants me to bring this back. Well, he's not my son-in-law anymore, but he was my daughter's husband, but my daughter's since passed on, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay. And then she brings out this bit of paper and she's like, that's the grave it came from.
Mm.
And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, 1987, he saw this tooth and he took it. And since then, pretty much most of his immediate family has died. He's been diagnosed with cancer 3 times, gone into remission, come back again, so on and so on and so forth. Lost everything he had gambling, which I wouldn't say has anything to do with that. I'd say that's more of a side effect of being depressed because everybody around him's died. And when I told him I was coming back to Scotland and I was going up to Inverness, he asked me to come to the cathedral and bring this back. It's somebody's molar. Now, with burials, the reason the grass grows in the cemetery is because the grass keeps the body parts underground. Sorry if I freaked out some of your regulars, but when there's no grass growing there, all the big bits, all the bits that survive and don't decay rapidly come to the surface. The skull, the pelvis, vertebrae, teeth, even finger bones in some cases.
Right.
And this tooth had come up. It was under a table stone, you know, the table-shaped gravestones. And he took it, thought it was a cool wee reminder. And as I said, his life turned to rubbish. So she left me the print off and of where it was and everything. And I says, right, I says, you go get on with your visit. I will go and return the tooth. I returned the tooth. I took a photo and got my colleague to take a video of me returning the tooth to the grave, which technically you're not supposed to do, but hey ho, it was just a tooth and it's a cemetery. There's going to be teeth all over the place. So put the tooth back, wrote her out a wee certificate saying that it had been returned to the grave, stamped it with the cathedral stamp, put my name and put my email address if he wanted to forward any updates or if he had any other questions, sort of thing. And she carried on with her holiday. 2 months later, I got an email from the guy. He'd managed to get some help because of his cancer issues. He'd managed to get some help that got him back into housing. He didn't have to live in his car anymore. So he's now got a house. He's getting on with his life. Things are improving slowly but surely, but they are improving within 2 months of that tooth being put back.
Right.
Now, I have no qualms at all about saying I think a lot of that was just bad luck being perfectly timed. But the fact that it's made him feel better enough for him to make moves into asking help and improving his own life himself is good enough for me.
Yeah, it could have been caused by you putting it back. In his mind, he knows it went back and he feels better about it.
Yeah.
The thing with stories like that, like you said, it's triggered something in him to go and do something. He's no longer got the tooth. You could have thrown that over the bloody thing and just written that out. He doesn't know that. But it's flicked that switch.
Yeah, that's it.
But the thing with that is, like you say, it's the perfect storm. He gets his tooth and people start dying around him. Why would him getting the tooth kill other people?
Right.
Yeah.
What earthly reason would there be for that tooth or whatever spirit
Linda saying
killing them rather than him? Yeah, I can understand giving him cancer, giving him osteoporosis, bloody rheumatism, whatever. But why kill people around him who are perfectly innocent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fully agree.
Yeah.
But Linda's saying about that reminds me of Greyfriars in Dunwich.
Mhm.
So if I'll just quickly get the picture right. So, right, this is the cliff sides of Dunwich, if it comes up. That's the cliff sides of Dunwich. They're about 30, 40 feet high. And on the top of that, you've got Greyfriars, which are, when you're at Greyfriars, you can be sat there and think, oh, I better get going. I'll be sat there half hour. When you look at your phone and look at the time, and you've actually been there 2 or 3 hours, it's almost like time stands still there. I've seen a few apparitions down there. One time I saw an apparition down there. I was actually in the process of doing a live. And around about 11 o'clock at night, I think it is, about 10 past 11 at night, there's always a female voice that you hear down there. So now that cliff's there, right? Let's quickly get the other image up. I think I downloaded it. It's just Linda saying about that reminded me. When you're saying about like the bodies and things.
Yeah.
Where is it? It should be this one.
There was a very good experiment done.
Right, when Linda's saying about like the way the bodies decay.
There was a good experiment done up by the North Pole, and they took a boulder and buried it under 10 feet of ice and went back every year and got photos of the exact same spot. By year 11, the boulder was on top of the ice, and the same thing happens with burials. As the ground freezes and thaws, everything big is pushed up.
It's pushed up, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now this is the very last grave at Greyfriars. I can't remember. Unfortunately, it's been so long since I've been down there. I can't remember the guy's name. But off them cliffs, even up until I think the most recent one was 2018. Bits of the bodies that had been in the graveyard, graves there, are still found on the beach. If I go back to, because all of this where, oh, hang on, wrong one. Sorry. Because where all that cliff there was, the top of that cliff originally stretched out almost 1.5 kilometers.
Yeah.
And there was, I believe it was 13 churches, and that was the last one. Now, the other image I was going to show is from the same area. Is here. That's a remnant of a leper hospital.
Oh.
That's in
Is
Dunwich.
that why it's falling apart?
Yeah.
Don't be playing on the beach under that one then.
That's about that is
Well, on the end.
probably about half a mile away from the edge of the cliff.
Yeah.
All along the cliff edge, it gives you a warning that stands at no more than, you have to stand about 8 feet away because the cliff's crumbling. Now, you said about the haunted items. I don't know how well we'll be able to see that, but that's a bit of stone that actually fell at my feet when I've done an investigation there.
Oh, cool.
That was the only bit.
Hang on. Do that angle again. Yeah.
No, it's not megalodon tooth.
No, but that other angle, it almost looks like a shin bone at that other angle.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately,
it looks like it's one of the flinty type ones, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So, but I've taken this. It's a location that a lot of people died. Originally, it was half a mile further towards the coast, but obviously lepers, people didn't want them in there. So they made them move to just on the outskirts. But I've had that from an allegedly haunted site for over 6 years, and I've never ever had any activity based around it.
Let me get my one.
There's people who have claimed to have done investigations there and taken bits of stone and had all sorts happen to the point they've had to take it back. Yeah, I've never had anything.
Well, yours was disattached.
Now I've got one.
Weird that it fell from the roof and landed at my feet.
Yeah.
Okay, exact same story, except the roof of the building I was in was perspex. The actual original roof had fallen in the 1700s, right? So I'm in the middle of the main hall of this building. The roof of all that's above me is 2x4s and corrugated plastic, right? Something hit my foot and I stopped and had a look. It's a rock, but it's a rock with druzy bits
Interesting.
Was that
of
pyrite
quartz
or
and
mica?
pyrite
quartz?
and
I can
mica.
see it better on my television, so
Yeah.
that's interesting.
And it's like, oh, okay. Now, at that point, I had been collecting any quartz and other crystals that I found in the wild randomly. But the fact that that dropped at my feet from where the only thing above me was 2x4s and corrugated plastic, I was impressed, and I've kept it ever since.
Yeah.
And that's my present from the building that I started working in with this company. So, and I've always kept it, so I have my own little bit of that building. So, which again, you're not supposed to keep bits that fall off of 13th and 14th century buildings, but hey ho, it didn't hit me in the head. So,
if I remember rightly, the leper one is from the 12th century, I think it is, if I remember rightly. Right, here's an interesting one. I've always found interesting.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name. Oh, that's it. The Hands That Resist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Hands That Resist. Story is allegedly how the hands move and all sorts of things. That picture, just looking at that picture, it breaks my heart. I don't know why, but I just have a really sad sensation looking at that picture.
It's based on a photograph of him when he was age 5.
And
it's always given me a feeling of entrapment.
Yeah. Bill Stoneham, 1982.
Is that? I thought it was older than that. That's interesting.
No, it was
1972. Bill
72.
Stoneham.
Bill Stoneham. The boy's based on a photograph of himself when he was 5, and it representation of the dividing world between waking and fantasy.
No, it is. Yep. See, Ian, I think it was Ian was mentioning a little while ago about the pictures. Ian brought up, obviously, the Anguished Man picture, but there's one I haven't been able to find it because I couldn't remember who it was, but there was one of the famous serial killers. I think it might have been John Wayne Gacy, done a painting, and who was it? I think it was someone like Tommy Lee of was it Tommy Lee? I think it was somebody like Tommy Lee or someone like that had brought the painting long after they died, and they had to get rid of it because allegedly all sorts of things were happening around it. I'm not sure. I'm not 100%. It was John Wayne Gacy, but it was one of the so-called serial killers had done a painting, and their paintings, anyone who's been near them, allegedly has had nothing but negativity.
He's done a lot of paintings.
I was going to say John Wayne Gacy was constantly painting when he was jailed and before he was jailed.
It may have been Gacy. I'm thinking of.
He did a lot of, well, obviously he did a lot of paintings of clowns and the like.
Yeah.
Given his costume, and
I'm sure it was one of Motley Crue, but it may not have been Motley Crue that bought it. But I think there was rumour that Lemmy of Motorhead had one of these paintings, and quite a few famous people have had these his paintings, and they've had nothing but problems with it. But
I
I
heard
can't.
something along
Sorry.
that line. I had heard something along that line. It wouldn't surprise me with Lemmy either.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't.
It's
Yeah.
he was he was another one for kicking stuff like this into taking the mick out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, was it? Who was the one who made furniture out of his
Ed
victim?
Gein. Ed
That was
Gein.
Ed Gein.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are several. I'm actually going to get one of them up.
Yeah, Ed Gein's the one that had the nipple belt, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he make a couch or something out of the skin, or a chair or something out of the skin?
There was a lampshade.
There's actually a company.
I know the
Made a lamp and a chair.
Yeah.
And shoes.
I know the Nazis did a lot of that.
There is actually a company in America now that sells furniture based on Ed Gein's murders.
Yeah.
So if
if ever you thought there was going to be an object that'd be haunted, it'd be that sort of stuff.
It's like Burke and Hare that were murdering people instead of digging up the bodies to sell to the doctors.
A whole lot easier than digging, isn't it?
The one who was executed.
Yes.
His nutsack was kept as a coin purse for the surgeon.
Right.
And the book that was produced telling you all about their crimes was covered in his hide as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't that was the Old West. There
There's
was some bad guy, he was killed and the doctor made shoes out of his skin. Out in the Old West in America.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
I mean, the one you were saying earlier about the nutsack, that was an old. I mean, I've heard that being done.
Didn't they make it into a purse or something?
Tobacco pouches made out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Or stuff like that.
When you look into the Norwegian witchcraft, you'll find entire pairs of trousers made from the waist down of an executed criminal.
Yeah,
because they were executed for their crimes, and if you wear them trousers, you get away with your crime.
Yeah, I saw a picture of one of them.
Also,
are they on eBay?
There was actually somebody that when he died, he actually had his body and all his skin donated to a museum, didn't he? That they made a thing out of it.
His whole body was to the college. He's still there in the college.
Yeah.
That was at college.
He's still there. He's still on display. The Edinburgh one.
Yeah.
We mentioned a few shows back. We mentioned about the Red Barn murders in Polstead.
Right.
We mentioned about that. The guy, when he was finally arrested, executed for the murder of the young girl, all the minutes for like his court case and all that were actually bound in his own skin, and that's actually kept in Peterborough Museum at the moment. So, but someone was mentioning Ed Gein, so apologies anyone that's watching it. Gets their stomach easily. But that is the actual mask of one of Ed Gein's victims.
Yeah. They used to wear it. That's where they got the idea, I believe, for Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was more Wild Bill than Hannibal Lecter. But Ed Gein has been
Wild Bill did it.
Yeah.
I should put a picture up.
Ed Gein has been based. Take that off now in case anyone's watching that gets easily offended. But Ed Gein's been Psycho. I can't think, but there's been multiple films that it's been loosely based on Ed Gein. So I feel so sick when I think about them poor coppers that walked into his barn and actually found it. You know, that must have been absolutely horrifying. Oh, here we go. I'm not sure we put this
There's
one
your
up.
pants.
There we go.
There we go.
That's the ones in the museum.
Doesn't really look that comfortable.
No.
I don't think I'd fit in them.
But then again, if those keep you from being caught with your crime, not much of a fashion statement though.
She wear them over your jeans or under them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. There's all sorts of other lore that goes with stories of them as well.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
go up the high street
Did
in
his
your
mum knit
pants.
them for him? Did his mum
Go up
knit
the
them
high street
for
in
him?
your pants there. That's wonderful.
no, but that pair that's in the museum that he's got on screen, the original owner, as in when they were still breathing, actually gave permission for this to be done.
No, yeah, you hear that a lot.
Yeah.
With a lot of these serial killers and
Yeah,
that.
because the reason I was thinking said
Weird.
there was one
yeah,
that
do
gave
what
him
you
his
like
whole
with
body,
it.
weren't there? If I'm
Yeah.
right.
Well,
Yeah.
one of the cannibals, Russian cannibals. He was
Yes.
advertising for victims,
Yes.
and they were coming forward. Yeah, oh yeah, you can eat me.
Oh, I remember that story.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about that somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like kids. I couldn't eat the whole one.
But Ian's saying about that one, that reminded me of one of these. One of them came to mind. A Hand of Glory.
Yeah.
The story, anyone that is watching, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube, the story is it was taken off of a hanged criminal. The tips of the fingers were burnt, and allegedly, when you went to break into the house, if you left it outside the house with the fingers burning, the people wouldn't wake up, so you could rob them in safety. Yeah. And I think that was one of the earliest stories from one of these encyclopedias of the paranormal that I read when I was about 9. And
can you imagine being the person who's being robbed? You wake up because there's a noise. You look out the window. There's a Han on your doorstep with its fingers on fire.
Yeah.
You're going to stand there looking at that going, what the hell? Which gives them time to escape.
Yeah. You stamp on it and it grabs you.
Now that would be interesting.
But again,
I think I'd stay in my underwear.
Yeah, going back to haunted objects though and things like that. Look at all the reliquary that there was in the olden days. I've got the finger bones of a saint. I've got this of a saint, and some of them turned out to be cow bloody bones. And
right, wasn't there somebody mentioned sometime? I don't remember how long ago it was. I read it, but somebody said if you took all the pieces of the one true cross that were supposedly scattered all over the place, this cross would be like 130 feet tall or something.
Yeah, it'd be bloody giant sequoia.
I can give you an example of that. Winchester Cathedral down south.
Yeah.
During
I was there the other day.
Aye. Well, you'll have seen all the reliquary boxes across the top.
I can't get in by the time I've finished, unfortunately.
Well, during whatever, I don't know if it was Cromwell's time or if it was before him or whatever, during one of the uprisings in England, the reliquaries were nicked. And then it was like, oh, we've still got the boxes, but there's nothing in them. And then they miraculously got them back. The contents of these reliquaries, some of them have been DNA tested in the last 30 years or so. And there's supposed to be something like, I don't know, say it's like there's supposed to be 11 people within these reliquaries. The DNA results showed 25 different people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously they've just taken, oh, that's a finger bone, that'll do.
Yep.
So
yeah, this
And
is
it
the thing
is
of all
like
the
a
Christ.
kind of-
Why is it still bleeding?
yeah.
Yeah.
Why is
This
he
is
holding
kind
it
of
down?
like this is over some, I think it's Italy's in, but allegedly that's made of solid gold, and allegedly that skull inside it, which is real, is supposedly the skull of Mary Magdalene.
Yeah.
Unless it's an
unfortunately,
airtight container, I disagree.
It could have been preserved
and
as
also,
well.
yeah, and also the fact that there's 8 other churches that claim they have her skull as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How many
So-
skulls did she have? And how many fingers did St. Elmo have? You know?
Well,
You must have
The
had like
fact
50
that
fingers
they're-
on each hand.
The fact that
like,
there appears
like
to
words
be,
of gummage, different head for different tap.
see, you're kind of lucky or unlucky on this point. Bring her back up a minute.
Yeah, hold on. Let me bring it up. I think this is the one. There we
So, speaking as someone who has regularly handled the skeletal remains of several hundred people as part of my day job, that skull, because of the growth on it, which, I mean, it could be staining from the earth that it was buried in, but it could be,
Could be
it looks
aging.
more like mold to me across the forehead and the top of the eye.
Yeah.
Implies there is still a little bit of dampness. Now, whether that's from the ground or from the decaying corpse, I'm not entirely sure. The teeth are really, really worn down.
Much older person then.
Yeah, that's
Thing is,
where
though,
I'm
if it
going
isn't-
with this. I would
Is
want
it
to
not-
see the top of the skull to have a look at the sutures to see if they're
Yeah.
sealed or not.
Well, looking at that, there is no top.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, could that potentially, I do see where Linda's coming from, but that's in a glass container
Yeah.
of some kind. Could the mold be
Be
caused by
distorting it.
condensation?
Yeah.
Because, well,
Yeah.
I know mold and condensation because my flat's full of mold because of condensation.
Remind me to
but
send
yeah, I
you the
do fully
tips for black mold.
I think. Has anyone else got any other items that are supposedly haunted or
I've got your
anything
favorite
else?
one.
What one's
I've
that?
got your favorite one right here. I'm putting a picture up now.
Oh no.
I can't put it up, Carl. You'll have to do it.
I will try and find. Oh, which one? Hang on. It's not come up. Oh,
Really?
hold on. Are you on about this one?
Yeah, your
Are
favorite
you on
one.
about this one?
Yeah.
The Divic Buster down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the one that's in the Zach Bagans Museum in Las
Yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah. There's
I'm saying nothing.
the guy who allegedly broke the story, Manis. Kevin Manis listed it for sale, weaving a story about a Jewish Holocaust survivor and a demon trap within it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He came out years after and said it was a load of garbage.
Yeah, because allegedly he got it for his mum. He gave it to her, and the following day she had a stroke. His mum's never been ill in a day in her life until the day she died.
Yeah.
He's admitted he was trying to sell
He
it.
made a fortune out of Bilbo.
Well, he made a fortune. Well, he made a fortune out of a lot of people.
Yeah. But he came out and admitted that it wasn't selling, so he put a story to it, and it sold pretty much straight away.
Yeah,
That's how all of that's done. You know,
It's when
There's a
he
story
did.
to it.
Bilbo did a live from the museum with
More
him, and he started reciting this poetry stuff. And they're like, "Oh, is he possessed, or is he having a breakdown, or what?"
Every
And
week.
that's
the same type of possession of Derek Cora when he was speaking as a Spanish woman with a Liverpudlian accent.
I have to disagree with that one because I knew Derek. I have to disagree with that. But
I like Derek.
He was a lovely bloke. He was
I think Derek had a lot of skill, and I think he had a talent.
He was unfortunately it's come out since, because there's quite a few people I know like Linda and that have actually knew Derek, and they've said he was forced to do that literally for the cameras.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
I can't tell you the whole story, but I have to do that off camera for legal reasons.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. The person who, I would
various people
for that person.
Yeah.
Derek was set up.
Yes, he absolutely was.
Kieran O'Keefe set him up, didn't he?
And I've still got his business on my Facebook.
Yeah.
And she's a lovely lady.
I never met him personally, but I know someone who did. And he told them things that he had no way of knowing at all.
The first time I met him, we were down to Manchester. We were filming for the Manchester Asylum Live. That was the first time I met Derek. And we went to the after show party. We were the only folk that weren't crew at that point that were allowed in the after show party. And Derek and me were chatting, just general, normal, what you're drinking and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he come up to me and he says, "Who's Don Miguel?" And I nearly dropped my glass. Because I was there with my mum and 11, 12 friends through the website, but only my mother knew that name connected with me. And she hadn't told anybody, and I hadn't told anybody. And I turned around and says, "Right, okay," I says, "I believed you before, but now you've said that, I know you're 100% genuine."
Yeah.
He says, "Who is it?" I says, "He's Diddy Little." And he says, "Yeah." He says, "He's the top of his head's like about halfway up your head. He's really small." And he says, "And he's black." And I'm like, "Yeah, look at my curls. Hello. He's family."
Yeah.
So by the end of that night, we had swapped
each
other a reading. It was great.
Yeah.
I do feel sorry for him because Kieran O'Keefe set him up. He made an anagram of a person's name that Derek's a fake. And obviously someone in the back of the crew said, "You've got to say this, that, and the other." And they used that to basically badmouth him.
Yeah,
I never got to meet him. I'd love to.
Rick Eagles is an anagram of Derek Lies.
Yeah, that was it.
And it was so that somebody... You go.
The one that he often had the piss taken out of him on was the one where he used to say Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick.
Yeah.
So, but unfortunately, it's TV, and you know yourself, if nothing happens, it's thousands of pounds of money.
They've got to create something in every episode.
I've
they were
seen...
all taking a mick. They were all laughing and joking.
I've seen...
Like I say, Kieran, if I met him, I'd commit something violent.
if he'd still been alive and I met him, I'd have bought him a pint. So,
Oh,
sorry,
yeah,
what you saying, Linda?
like I said, the person I know, pretty much like Linda said, it was a chance meeting
Yeah.
in a hotel lobby. And she was, I really love your stuff and everything. And he basically, very, very similar sort of thing. Who's such a body? They're with you. Knew all about them. And he just said, yeah, she's always with you.
Yeah.
And there's no way on God's earth he could have known anything about that.
Good thing is on Facebook we've had, okay, it's Joe and Linda that commented, but we've had 22 views on Facebook on Paranormal Anglia, and it's been teetering between 4 and 6 on this live, so we're starting to get noticed.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
you'll be able to retire soon with all that beer and bitches, Ian.
I'll stick with the beer.
Right, so
Not enough of the bitches.
What are we doing next? As next one will be Linda's fourth one, maybe Linda can choose the next one because we've chosen the previous 8.
Time slips.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Yeah.
that's
Just
very
because I happened
interesting.
to look up and the first thing I saw was my clock. So time slips.
Bad one.
A lot of stories about time slips.
But
Even
as Ian
I've
said,
got a personal story for that.
ooh,
I
that'd be
don't
interesting.
know whether it's a time slip, but visiting a place I've never been and being able to give someone directions.
Yeah, I've done
Done
that
that
before.
one. Done that one.
Me too.
I was with my ex, went to somewhere, I think it was Canterbury. Never been in my life. Someone came up asking us directions and I pointed him in the right direction. You go down there, you go round, and my ex looked at me and said, I thought you'd never been here before. And I said, I haven't. So we actually followed him at a safe distance, and lo and behold, yeah, I was bang on.
When I did that one, it was Mont Saint Michel that we were at. And we got absolutely lost because even though I was only 15, I was still getting swept away with the buildings, and we didn't get anywhere near the Abbey at the top. And I was swept away with all these tiny little cottages, and me and my friend were just wandering around, and we got completely lost. And we thought, right, if we just keep walking in the same direction, we're bound to come back to the main thing because it's an island. Yeah, we didn't.
No.
So we ended up, I'm like, right, I'm going to try something. As I say, I was like 14, 15 at the time. And I sat down and shut my eyes. And I'm basically thinking to myself, if there's anybody up there that can hear me, help us find the main street again. And I didn't hear anything. I didn't get any visions. I didn't get anything. I just kind of went, oh, well, there was no reply from that. So let's try up here. And 2 corners later, we were there.
It's not, as Ian said, with, I can't remember if it was last week or the week before, but how with the time slips, are we go slipping into them or are they slipping to us?
Yeah.
So, and there's like the story I told you of the elderly couple in Norfolk that had gone walking. They walked through a village. They thought it was a Renaissance fair going on. They stood there. They ate off the stalls. They ate food. They talked to people. They had a drink. They carried on their walk. There was only one path in and out of the village. They came back down exactly the same path. There weren't no village there.
Yeah.
And there's also the one of I think
the women at Versailles. There's the one at Versailles as well.
Right.
Where they went back and they actually spoke to Marie Antoinette and the king. This is a thing. We time is a human concept.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
We've mentioned that many times on the show.
We tend to think of time as lineal.
Yeah.
who's to say it's not a spiral? I mean, you've heard of, I can never remember how to pronounce it, Moebius.
I tend to think time happens all at once. So it's all happening right now. And we just perceive it as linear.
Yeah.
We're going forward through time and not backwards through time. But I think it all happens at once. That's why we can see spirits. That's why we can do that. That's why people can, connect.
Yeah.
Because it's all happening at once.
Mine's a bit more chaos theory. The way I think of it is a 3-year-old got a hold of a ball of string, unraveled it all, and it's in a heap in the middle of the floor, and certain points cross over and other points don't.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, some people can instinctively go like that and speak to a spirit. Can some people do the same thing with time slips? Can they make themselves jump in and out of these different times?
Oh, so many TV series spring to mind that I used to watch about that.
Yeah.
Well, again, if multiple universes.
Yeah.
Are we?
Well, as you know, I like my science stuff, and I was watching a thing Thursday last week. I was watching a thing, and they reckon that they have successfully done time travel with protons.
Yeah.
So they reckon within the next X amount of years it could be plausible. But one of my biggest science heroes is Michio Kaku, and I love his stuff. He basically said that if you build what's this? Oh yeah, let's bring that up. I think I know what that is.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
It's a single piece of paper, but they twist it. But who's to say time's not like that?
Yeah.
That's
well the theory Michio Kaku said on one of the documentaries I watched years ago, and it stuck in my mind, and it always has done. Time travel from the future to the past isn't possible. Say, like right now, somebody can appear now in my room or one of your rooms from the future, because time travel hasn't been invented yet. If you created a time machine, turned it on a minute past 12 and 15 seconds, and then turned it off, then in 100 years somebody found it, they could then travel back to 12 o'clock, 1 minute and 15 seconds, because then time travel had existed. They couldn't go to like a second or two before that, because before that, time travel was impossible. If that makes sense.
I can see that logic, but it's a shame because I want to go back to the building I work in and see what it looked like when it was first abandoned.
Oh, that'd be amazing. That would be amazing. I'd love looking around the old building. My kids, we go to like Ike Castle, which is a Mott and Bailey, and we've been to a few others than that. I just love going to them, not just because of seeing if I can pick anything up or do any investigations there. Shush, Freddie. But simply just because I love them old buildings, and I often stand there thinking, what would this be like?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I love looking at old photos.
Oh, me too.
There's a
and do the comparison.
I'm on a page on Facebook with it's belonging to Bolton. But
Did
there's a
you know?
photographer on there that does he does all black and white.
Yeah,
and his photos go back to the 70s, and just looking at him is amazing. I love stuff.
Did you know, for those that have time, places like English Heritage and Historic Environment Scotland actually have volunteer positions where they can send you a bunch of photos from the area that you specialize in and see if you can help them identify where it is so they can be catalogued properly.
Wow. Oh, that'd be fun.
So if you have time on your hands, contact your local office for English Heritage, Historic Environment Scotland, and presumably the Manx and the Cadw are doing the same as well for the Manx Heritage and the Welsh Heritage. Because I
Yeah.
know Historic Environment Scotland have just opened up their aerial photography stuff for volunteer positions, and you apply, tell them what area you're in or what area you focus on, and you can identify bits and pieces from aerial photos, and they will send you stuff that is approximately somewhere around there, so you can help them identify it and catalogue it.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that'd be so much.
My ex-girlfriend was doing the history of her area, and she was getting old photos together, old stories and everything. I was helping her. The pub we first had our first dating is gone now. It was obliterated. It's now part of the Trafford Centre.
Oh, yeah.
And all the garbage that's gone up round there. It was flattened under that. Other than a couple of photos I've got of the pub, I have never, ever been able to find any photos. I've found photos around the area. I've found photos on the same road, but I have never, ever found a photo. We've asked people, oh, yeah, I've got photos. Oh, I can't get. I've got them somewhere. When I find them, I'll send them to you.
Yeah. And they're always the ones that never appear either.
Yeah, but like I said, other than I think I've got 3 photos that I took when I was with her. One is her going into the pub. One's sat across from me at the table. I can't remember the other one. Well, we were sat out in the actual beer garden. But even when I go on the Manchester historical sites, old pubs of Manchester and all this, I've yet to find a photo.
Yeah, I'd love looking at that old sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Right, so sorry.
I was going to say the black and white ones are so evocative as well. I think you get a lot more out of them than you do a lot of the colour stuff.
They have a lot. Sometimes I'll look at some of the old black and white photos. I can look at them as I remember when I was a teenager. I was shown a picture of my adopted mother's grandfather standing by the side of a car, and it was a black and white photo, and I said the colour of the suit he was in and the colour of the car he was standing next to. And she looked at me and she went, "How did you do that?" I went, "I don't know." So it's like cars nowadays. You look at a car, look at a Land Rover, it looks identical, or a Qashqai, it looks identical to a Range Rover and things like that. Nothing nowadays has its personality. Whereas like old cars, like a Stingray or like that will have its character. And I'll find that
went jelly
same
mold
with old photos.
Yeah, everything went jelly mold.
Yeah. It's like the Heidi
going back to the time travel, there was that one where I think it was Australia, but he turned up. He got a passport, and he got stamps in it and everything. And
the mandatory.
I can't remember, but the country.
Oh, you're all about the mandatory.
Yeah, he had this passport, and he showed him on a map.
Within recent years, that has been fully debunked. It turns out he was a spy. I'm sure I saw a documentary saying he got fully debunked.
Again,
but it's
a
still
lot of these
interesting story. It's like the orangutan, that boat, the orangutan, or whatever it was called, supposedly was supposedly hauled. But when you look into that, the boat never even existed in the first place.
Taured, Taured.
Yeah, Taured. Yeah. I'm sure it was fully debunked that he was a spy. If Joe's got that up, he might be able to confirm or deny that.
I got, I don't know why I brought this one up. It's Snopes, but it says a man from another dimension bearing a passport from the non-existent country of Tarid showed up at a Japanese airport in 1950
Japanese,
and then
that's it,
mysteriously vanished. Then it says it's mostly false.
From a
The man was arrested in Japan in 1959. Oh, God, stop. All these pop-ups. Japan in 1959 for using a false passport he created, one supposedly issued by a non-existent country. And it says, what's not false or what's false? The man did not hail from another dimension. He was prosecuted and sentenced by Japanese authorities and did not mysteriously vanish from a guarded hotel room. So, yeah. Debunked.
Nah.
Yeah.
Mysteriously vanished to the local jail.
That's
Russia.
It's still an absolutely fascinating story.
Yeah,
it's still an interesting story. You know, change it around a little bit. Do you know, if somebody got a Harry Potter book now and defaced it slightly, 200 years time, with some of the pages missing and that, just a couple of odd words and things, some go, oh, there's some guy called Harry years ago. You know, stories can easily be twisted and manipulated.
There's one locally came out thanks to a fellow local historian. The town of Forres has a very famous witch's stone, where allegedly the witches were made to drag a whiskey barrel up to the top of the hill. They were put in the barrel sealed, then they get 9-inch nails and shish kebab the barrel. Then they cover it in pitch, set fire to it, and kick it down the hill. And this stone is supposedly where the last barrel stopped, because they just dropped stones on top of it just to make sure you're dead.
Yeah.
And a fellow local historian, I can't remember his name at the moment, he's been doing some serious digging through the town archives at Forres. And he's found out it's actually the last remnant of a recumbent stone circle that hasn't been documented since the late 1500s.
Wow.
But where it is, it's the only thing it can be, because there's no actual evidence of this is what we did to the witches. And so many folk nowadays with the whole witch thing coming back, when Nippy Sweetie issued the pardon to all the executed witches, everybody's gotten lovey-dovey about the folk that were killed for witchcraft, which some of us always were, but I'm no fool enough to go and lay a bunch of flowers on a memorial that's nae a memorial. But folk have been laying flowers on it and they're getting all offended because this guy's discovered the truth. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't be offended. The whole thing is he's gone digging to find the truth.
You see that these days now.
Yeah.
With people getting so irate.
Yeah.
Because they're being told the truth.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to believe the truth.
It's like on one of the things I saw earlier. It's like Groucho Marx's song, whatever it is, I'm against it.
Yeah.
I think it was Dave Schrader that came out with that on one of his programs.
Linda's saying about that. It reminds me of when I was younger, my adopted mum, she worked with a guy called Les, and he had a wife called Jeanette, and she was from Leeds, I think she was from. Apparently there was a story there of a site where somebody got hit by a car and a plaque or something or a stone had been put up and flowers were laid there, and long after any family members were gone, the flowers still arrived. They put video cameras on the stone, and following that, for a very split second, the camera glitched out, and when it came back, even just a second or two, or however long it was, new flowers were there, and there was no record, there was no video footage of anyone ever changing the flowers. and they've done it multiple times. No one's ever around it, but the new flowers are always forming there for some reason. It's an interesting story. What is it? Local legends, most probably, like the Coom's Dark Woods I told you about. There's only, and Ian said, you might have a local legend that nobody outside that village or town has ever heard of.
Yeah.
And there's literally no documentation for it whatsoever.
One of the ones
like we were saying before about stories. You've got Harry Potter. Who's to say that the Gospels and everything else weren't stories that were told?
Oh, they are.
You've got, well, yeah, they are. Of course they are. But proof of that is Ron Hubbard with Scientology.
Mm-hmm.
His books are now taken as bloody a whole creed for religion.
Putting that same thing into a slightly different angle. Excuse me. A lot of the Gospels and the various books of the Bible and various similar books were written 200 to 300 years after the dude himself is supposed to have been dead. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was a man in what's now Romania who was a very fierce warrior and was originally a Templar knight before they had the title Templar, but they wouldn't have had that title in Romania anyway because it's a different language.
Yeah.
And he was a fierce warrior, and 200 years after his death, an Irishman wrote an amazing story about him. And now we all think he's Dracula.
Yeah.
But he was actually a local tribal king in Romania.
Yep.
The same as Macbeth here. Everybody thinks of the Shakespeare version of Macbeth. Macbeth
Totally
was the
different
last
guy.
tribal king here.
Yeah.
Well,
He's a totally different guy than
people think
Shakespeare.
it's a story. Macbeth actually existed.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why we've got a castle 500 metres from our house. All that's left is a few bits of rubble that are about waist high now, but that's why that's there, is because it was Macbeth's castle when he was the King of Murray before he became the King of Scotland.
I mean, Shakespeare was the politicist of his time.
Yep.
He wrote the stories to put the spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's one we didn't bring up on
English king who was paying his wages.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
one we didn't bring up. That's one we didn't bring up last week on conspiracies. The conspiracy that Shakespeare didn't even do the writing.
Probably not. Probably had underlings by the time he was working for the king. He would have been able to
afford
underling.
Francis Bacon.
Well, Francis Bacon, there's several who claim.
I mean, that's just what one of the stories is that he did it.
Yeah, exactly. There's several people who it's been laid at, but again, is that just someone who's trying to, for whatever reason, be spoiled?
I can just imagine all the English lit people jumping up and down in their seats hearing this.
But there's also the one I heard of that Bram Stoker didn't actually write Dracula.
I actually think it was a Mary Shelley one with edits by him to make it look like his, because when you see the original wording, it's closer to Mary Shelley's. Because what folk don't know is Mary Shelley, Bram Stoker, and forgotten his name.
They were all friends.
Lord Byron.
They were all
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they all hung out together, and they were all on holiday in Scotland several times together.
Yeah.
The conspiracy I heard about it, there was actually Bram Stoker's wife that wrote Dracula, and she wrote it because she wasn't being satisfied, and it was her way of getting some for other women out there that's husbands were more interested in drinking than pleasuring them. She wrote that as basically as Monday old-fashioned wank rag.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I'd heard. How true
I
it
can
is.
see the logic in that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is lots of passages that completely read like a woman wrote them.
Yeah.
Unless Bram Stoker played both sides of the fence.
Well, a
back
lot
then,
of them did in them
possible.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously back
did.
then it was punishable by death, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
it wouldn't have come out. But no, the theory that it might have been his wife's way of, I'm not being treated how I should be. I'm not being treated like a lady. I'm not getting loving. I'm not getting cuddles, and I'm not being told I love you. It's her way of getting her.
The other side of that is, as we've said, in those days, women didn't get published.
Right.
Yep.
So
I've seen
an awful lot of women published under male names.
Yep.
And it only came out years later.
Was female as well.
Yeah.
Wasn't one of the Brontes one of the first females to be published?
Yeah.
Was it one of
yeah,
the
but I believe she published under the male name as well at first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did she? Oh no, I don't know.
Or it was just the initial rather than the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's another one. Alice in Wonderland could have potentially have been a time slip or a dimensional jump.
I think that was more the fact that he smacked out of his tits.
Yeah, I reckon it was. But
Probably
look back,
just in one of the opium lounges.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is why you have Bagpuss and the caterpillar with the hookah.
Yeah. He was well and truly chasing dragons and
But guys, no, it's been absolutely fantastic as always. I think we've cut a little bit short this week again, thankfully. I'm gasping for a cup of coffee, so we'll go with Linda's one of time slips.
Yep.
Oh.
Now this is one I will research because that's always interested me.
I will not be available next week.
No, you've got work again, haven't you, poor sod?
Oh no, I am available next week.
Oh,
the week
okay.
after I'm not.
See, now he said that, I've got to check mine to make sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you ain't down with Colin next week, are you?
No, that would be far too expensive to do it that soon.
No,
that's probably not going to be till September.
Right.
I'm available next week. I'm not available the 2 weeks after because I'm away with work again.
South again, aren't you?
I'm away with work the last week, and the first week in July I will be in Devon with my daughter and family.
Oh,
I'm good for next week and that.
Well, the good news is we've had, I said on here, we've fluctuated between 4 and 6 people popping in viewing. I'm assuming that perineum is Colin.
I don't know. To be honest, I need to
I've
ask.
Just realised the name.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, really? Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. It was only when you said it out loud. Yeah.
And you will be pleased to know that all the hassle I had of getting the computer and all that set up on Paranormal Anglia, we've had 26 views.
All right.
Cool.
A lot of messing around, so that seems to be the way to go. So this week we've come close to 30 views while we've been live, which is the best we've done so far. And the worst we've done so far was when Ian weren't here last week. Right, guys, I shall love you and leave you.
My spirit crowd with us.
I think the amount of times the cameras clicked off, though, I think by whoever it was brought up a picture of Robert the doll by not asking permission to put a jinx on it.
Yes, Joe. It definitely wasn't me.
I'll send him an apology letter.
I've sent mine to Annabelle.
Let's test it. Robert, you're a fraud. Annabelle, you're a cheap replacement because the original was nicked.
Where's Linda gone?
What's that axe behind Joe's head?
Right, guys. It's been fantastic as always.
Yeah.
And we shall do this time next week.
Yes. See you
Yeah.
again.
See you
Bye,
later.
all.
Bye.
Bye.
Ugh.